I wanted to uh, explain markets, the 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 fact that humans are in the market guarantee emotion. And really, if you look at a chart, that's all you really see is human emotion. Human fear, those that know what they're doing when they're trading, and those that are greedy. It shows it all to you. Overnight, the Fed said they will pump in unlimited amount of dollars into the system. Now, not necessarily the market, the system overall. So anybody who understands supply and demand would hear that and say, there's no way the dollar can go higher. I'm going short the dollar. And logical thinking would make you say that, wouldn't it? This was 1 o'clock, 12:30 last night, my time. I'm on mountain time for those who don't know, but it doesn't matter what time it was. But this was 12:30. Now, I'm not sure exactly what time the Fed came out and said that statement, but my bet is right here. This is the dollar yen. Okay? Now, the TD9 count can keep your emotions out of the picture. Because had you gotten in above the red line, when we got to close above the red line, you know we got a bullish engulfing candle. And right now, this 9 count does not matter because we got the signal, right? We got a bullish engulfing candle, and then we got follow through. Doesn't have to get above this high. These wicks are emotion, straight, nothing but emotion. Price went up, but it didn't hold. So when you got to close above the red line, you could go long. Okay, you were long, 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 long. Okay, then you got a 9 count. This is where this is perfect. Perfect. Okay, in a single candle, what happens at a 9? What are you expecting at a 9 count? You're expecting a reversal, a hiccup, you know, kind of like this here, kind of, sort of. Or a consolidation. That's the three things that happen after a 9 count. Consolidation. up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay? So after this 9 count, what is the job of the bears? To push price down to support, right? In a single candle, the bears push price all the way down here. What did it not close below? It did not close below support. Okay? So had you been long, yeah, you would have been upset that you lost all these that all these profits went away, but you wouldn't have gotten out of your trade because the bears did exactly what they were supposed to do. They pushed price down to support and it closed above the low of this one candle. That told you to stay in your trade. That is exactly what that told you. Has nothing to do with the red line at this time. Yes, you might have been puckering, but you knew support held. And support is more important than this red line. Went down below support, went back above, and closed above support. Stay in your trade and go with it. So now, all those people that heard the Fed's going to print unlimited dollars and assumed the dollar was going to tank, which it did for a minute, are now underwater. Let's bring up the dollar. Here's the dollar. In Thinkorswim, it's $DXY. That's the US dollar index. Okay? Here's the announcement right before the market open. All these people are saying, "Oh my goodness, the dollar is going to get crushed." Yes, it closed below support, didn't it? And looking at the dollar, you wouldn't really know which way it was going to go. Would you? You had a big bullish candle, and then you had a big bearish candle, and now it's going higher. And now, once it got above the red line, you could go long. Okay? The way I play the US dollar is with the dollar yen. If you want exposure to the dollar, it's the dollar yen. Now, a little piece of advice is I listen to the hedge eye guys. They say we're in quad 4. Quad 4 is growth and inflation slowing, right? Which is bullish for the dollar. And they're saying no matter what the Fed does, they are not going to kill the dollar right now. It's not going to happen. Which they are desperately trying to do. They're trying to devalue the dollar to make the things we make cheaper. Along with throwing gasoline on a fire by bailing everybody out. Okay? So now where are we at? We are now at major resistance, right? We are at major resistance, 111.49. Let's find out where 111.49 is on the daily chart. 111.49. So that's inside this candle. Okay. So, and we're on a 6 count on the daily. Okay. Now, you may notice a lot of times once price gets above, gets back above the red line after a 9 count, once price gets above the red line after a 9 count, it prints a 1. It's not an exact science, but what I do is if I get a 1 right around the red line, what I do is I go with the trade and I use the bottom of the 1 as my stop. Because if this does a 9 count, this is now support, right? So if you get, this is a daily chart, so if I would get a close below this candle, I'd know I'm wrong. But unless I did, I'm making money. Okay? Again, this is a forex trade, a foreign exchange trade, but this works in everything. It doesn't, this, what is up here does not matter. I'm only pointing out how you can keep your emotions with your trading intact. And that is a very important key to being a trader, is by keeping your emotions intact. Because right now, am I worried that this resistance is going to hold? No, I'm not worried one bit. Am I worried that it's going to take it out? No, not one bit. Actually, I welcome it because right now I'm long. Okay? I went long. 110.80 was my strike. 110.80. I went long here. Right in here. I went long. And I've profited all this. Okay? So now, from what you've learned, you know, well, I mean, it doesn't take much, but you can tell that this is resistance. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 bars topping out in that general area. So, you know one of two things. If that resistance holds, I'm going to want to be out of this trade. If it gives way, well, we're going higher. Now, what else do you see on this chart? These are the things you have to go through your head consistently. We got above the red line, right? Yep. What did the MACD do? It broke above the 0 line, didn't it? So what is the next thing you're expecting? Price in this red line to kiss. So I'm in down here. This is a 30-minute chart. The MACD broke above the 0 line, and now I'm expecting price in the OUL to kiss. What happens on a 30-minute candle if it kisses the OUL and bounces higher? Higher price is expected. If price breaks below the OUL, if you're long, you want to be out. Now again, if I was doing a Nadex trade, I'd have to be thinking, okay, does price, is there enough time for price to get back to my strike and put me into a losing trade? But if you're in a long trade, say you're trading Caterpillar. I love trading Caterpillar. I love trading Harley Davidson. I've made enough money on Harley Davidson to pay for a motorcycle. Just using this strategy. So, what happens with the OUL as time goes by? This is continuing to go higher. So price might just sit here and consolidate underneath this resistance until the OUL catches up. Price and the OUL kiss. The OUL rejects lower price and it takes out that resistance. That would be the perfect scenario in my view. So all I wanted you to do is see how you can keep your emotions intact simply by what the chart is telling you. All these people during this 30-minute period sold. Now there'd been nothing wrong with you taking profits. You know, if you'd had your stop right here, you would have gotten stopped out. But for what? For a profit, right? You will never go broke taking profits. So had you gotten stopped out here, there'd been nothing wrong with that. But if you drop down, let's say to a 15-minute chart, let's see what a 15-minute chart looks like during that period. Boom, look at that. A straight up hammer. That told you this was not, or the chances of this lower price holding was not there. Because on the 30-minute chart, the 30-minute held support. The 15-minute gave you a hammer during that time. And then it confirmed 3 bars later. And got back above the OUL, go long, and go for the ride. Because even here, even during this time, the MACD did not break below the zero line. It got really close. It got really close. It might have just barely, no, it didn't. It did not break the zero line. So you had a hammer, you had 30-minute support holding. On the 15-minute, you had the MACD still above the zero line. You got to close above the OUL, go long, and go for the ride. So now all these people that let their emotions get a hold of them and they sold are now underwater. They thought the dollar was going to tank, and it did for a minute, for a 30-minute bar, it did. And now they're in a losing trade. You knowing how to do this took their money away. You'll hear that, you'll hear in the news that $3 trillion were lost in the stock market drop. Couldn't be further from the truth. And the reason is because for every buyer there's a seller. For every seller there's a buyer. So all these people sold, and I bought. So I just took their money away because they sold to open, and I bought to open. So them selling pays me what I'm winning now. That's how you can keep your emotions in check inside the stock market. And emotions, for most novice traders, fear and greed is what helps them blow up their account because they don't know what they're doing. Keep your emotions in check. Let the chart tell you what price wants to do, and you will be fine. Start small. Start slow. Learn. All these videos are now here for you to watch over and over and over. I'm telling you what, I had to do that. I recorded classes on my, what was it? It was my iPod. I recorded classes, put them on my iPod, and I went to sleep with it going in my ears. I wanted to learn this, and I did. And I thank the good Lord for that. Again, it can change your life. Learn correctly, learn how to do it, and you will change your life, you and your family's life. You can make more money than the next 4 generations need, and the Fed is printing it. And right now, the dollar is telling us it's not allowing the Fed to destroy it. Okay? Thanks for listening.